sure it's cleaned up a lot since you're not there.
Oh, yeah. You know, the biggest thing I think we did, and I'll be totally honest, we built that little small building out away from that main building. You know, like where my office is, the lunchroom. Before we sat in that lunchroom, and we were right next to us constantly. And, you know, I would give Paul credit for that. Paul's walking Paul.
Yeah.
We got a lot of donations from
Yeah.
all different people to do that.
Right.
$5,000 each, $4,000 or $5,000.
I guess if people are traveling, they can make either you or I should be the way you're speaking is like body off your potentially having us speak about the fact that we have no form to make the invitation.
Good evening. It's 7 o'clock, and I would like to open this meeting. My name is Quentin Blaine. I'm the moderator for the town of Plymouth. Welcome to the 2009 town meeting. If you'd all please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. There's a flag upon that wall over there. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
While people are still checking in, I will give you some of the totals from yesterday's voting. I've had a request to crank it up, but I don't know if I don't have any control over the volume. Is that working okay? They probably thought I was going to sing, and so they wanted to keep it as low as possible. Check. Okay, for the Plymouth, annual town ballot, the votes for Selectmen: G. Charles Barker, 34; Valerie Scarborough, 351; Patrice M. Scott, 247, and I declared Valerie Scarborough duly elected. Supervisor of the checklist: Nancy L. Bird, 562 votes. I declare Nancy L. Bird duly elected. There were a few, I don't have them with me tonight, but there were a few scattered write-in votes for some of the offices. Bob Clay received 4 votes for each of the moderator offices, and I don't believe anyone else received more than 1 vote or 2 votes for any other office. But I don't have the names tonight. For cemetery trustee, Travis Brunt, 543 votes, and I declare him duly elected. Trustee of the trust fund, Theodore Ted Garrity, 567 votes. I declare him duly elected. For library trustee, there were 2 seats open. Omer C. Ahern Jr., 210 votes. Winifred Holt, 388 votes. Elsa Turmel, 447 votes. I declare Winifred Holt and Elsa Turmel duly elected. For Article 2, shall we adopt the provisions of RSA 40:13 to allow official ballot voting on all issues before the town? The yes votes, 279. The no votes, 256. That's 52%. It required a 60% to pass, so Article 2 failed. For the zoning articles, I'm not going to read what they were about, unless I can do it in a word or so. Article 3 regarding fences, yes, 523 votes, no, 96 votes. Article 3 passed. Article 4, it's regarding freestanding signs, yes votes, 454 votes, no, 167. Article 4 passed. Article 5 regarding to prohibit standalone bars, yes, 465, no, 152. Article 5 passed. Article 6 regarding accessory family dwellings, yes, 465 votes, no, 142. Article 6 passed. Article 7 regarding rezoning the village commercial district for a portion of it, yes, 434 votes, no, 164. Article 7 passed. Article 8 regarding adoption of the state building code, yes, 447 votes, no, 136 votes. Article 8 passed. For the Plymouth School District, For moderator, Quentin Blaine, 585 votes. I declare Quentin Blaine duly elected. There were scattered write-ins. School District Treasurer, Susan Jane H. Clay, 580 votes. I declare Susan Jane H. Clay elected as treasurer. School District Clerk, Susan Jane H. Clay, 576 votes. I declare Susan Jane H. Clay elected. School Board Member, Patricia C. Berman. There were 2 seats open. Patricia C. Berman, 443 votes. Wilma Hyde, 380 votes. Wilmer C. Ahern Jr., 223 votes. I declare Patricia G. Berman and Wilma Hyde duly elected. On Article 2, in favor of changing the terms of the school district clerk, moderator, and treasurer from 1 to 2 years, beginning with the next term, yes 443, no 139. Article 2 passed. Article 3, shall we adopt the provisions of RSA 40:13, known as SB 2, to allow official ballot voting for the Plymouth School District? Yes votes 314, no 271. It required 60%, it had 53.7%, so Article 3 failed. For the Pemmy-Baker Regional School District, I am going to switch. I have the totals for the all of the towns in the district. For election results, for school board, Catherine Hahn received 2,028 votes. I declare Catherine Hahn duly elected. Lisa Ash, the district school board member from Campton, received 2,087 votes. I declare Lisa Ash duly elected. Andrew Hancock from Holderness received 1,951 votes. I declare Andrew Hancock duly elected. In Plymouth, Barbara Noyes received 1,448 votes. Omer Ahern Jr. received 767 votes. I declare Barbara Noyes duly elected. From Thornton, Carol Varon, 1,951 votes. I declare Carol Varon duly elected. For moderator, Quentin Blaine, 2,239 votes. I declare Quentin Blaine duly elected. And for the warrant articles on the ballot, for warrant number 1 regarding tuition contracts, there was yes 2,022, no 474. Article 1, warrant Article 1 passed. The contingency fund, Article 2, 1,526 yes, 979 no. Warrant Article 2 passed. Article 3, alternative energy study, 1,522 yes, 996 no. Article 3 passed. Article 4, borrowing for special education, 1,629 yes, 856 no. Article 4 passed. Article 5, which was the base money article for financing the Pemmy-Baker Regional School District for the year, 1,794 yes, 691 no. Article 5 passed. I'd like to recognize Butch Cushing.
Good evening. On behalf of the Select Board and citizens of Plymouth, I'd like to take this opportunity to recognize Patrice Scott for her outstanding service on the Select Board for the last 3 years. She's committed uncountable hours. The woman is a workaholic when it comes to town business. And I can say that Patrice has definitely left her mark on the town, and it is in a much better situation since Patrice has been on the board. And I would like to take this opportunity, Patrice, to present this plaque. And it reads, presented to Patrice Scott in recognition of your dedicated service to the town of Plymouth while serving as selectman from March 2006 to March 2009. Signed by Wallace, Cushing, John Kelly, Charlie Berman, and Darrell Brown. And I personally thank you for all your time and effort. Thank you.
And Patrice, if you can come up for 1 minute. Just for myself and, myself and the town staff working with you the last 2 years. Just appreciate all your help. And, really appreciate everything you've done.
This is the deliberative session for the town of Plymouth. For those who are not registered voters for the town of Plymouth, could you please raise your hand at this time? All those who are, thank you. All those who are registered voters, you should have received a card, and I'd appreciate when you do vote, just raise the card up so we know who's voting and who isn't as well. I try to operate by a set of rules. I've written the rules out. They are almost inserted in this year's book at pages 96 forward. So we will operate by those rules. Don't hesitate to bring them to my attention. One of the changes I've made to the rules, and I am open to suggestions for changing, is last year there was a suggestion that we only read the articles at the first time through, and I've thought that through a little more, and I'm very willing to try just reading it the first time through, but I am open. I understand that some people gather information but visually, some people gather it by listening to it, and I do not want to leave anybody out. So I will be open to suggestions to changing that, whether that's at the beginning of the meeting or at any point therein or after the meeting. So I'd appreciate hearing from you, and if it raises difficulties with anyone, I will go back to reading these articles just before we vote on them for a second time. Please use the microphone. There's one in the middle aisle. Each time you speak, please give your name each time you speak. Please direct all questions through the moderator. And if you have a cell phone on, unless you need it on for an emergency, please make sure it's rather quiet, if you could do that, vibrate or some other means. John, do you have a point of order you'd like to speak to?
Yes. While Patrice is still with the board, I'd like to commend the Select Board for making a very crucial appointment in this town, which has more than doubled in value what anybody ever expected. We have promoted from within in 2 or 3 departments, but in the fire department we promoted from within, and it's only got better. I think Mr. Casino Clarkston deserves a big hand of applause for what he's done since he's been in there, and keep up the good work.
Thank you.
The deliberative session starts with Article 9. For those who are following along, it's page 103 in the book. And we'll go to Article 9. Shall we modify the elderly exemptions from property tax in the town of Plymouth based on assessed value for qualified taxpayers to be as follows? For a person 65 years of age up to 75 years, $35,000. For a person 75 years of age up to 80 years, $45,000. For a person 80 years of age or older, $55,000. To qualify, the person must meet the requirements of state law set forth at RSA 72:39-A and 72:39-B, and in addition, must have been a New Hampshire resident for at least 3 consecutive years, own the real estate individually or jointly, or if the real estate is owned by such person's spouse, they must have been married for at least 5 years. In addition, the taxpayer must have a net income of not more than $27,500 for a single person, or, if married, a combined net income of less than $37,500, and own net assets not in excess of $60,000, excluding the value of the person's residence. Is there a motion?
Move Article 9 as read.
Is there a second? Article 9 has been moved and seconded. Is there any one from the board that wishes to speak to the article? And I'm not, there's no requirement, but I'll give you that opportunity first. Yes.
Mr. Moderator, I would just like to note, at one of our meetings, we discussed how this would impact the budget. It would increase an amount of $2,589 if we pass this, increase this exemption.
Is there any discussion on Article 9? We'll bring Article 9 to a vote. All those in favor of Article 9, say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Article 9 passes. Article 10, to see if the town will vote to amend the optional veterans tax credit as prescribed in RSA 72:28 from $250 to $500.
Mr. Moderator, I move the article as read.
Is there a second? Article 10 has been moved and seconded. Does the Select Board wish to speak to it?
Mr. Moderator, I would just like to tell the people, because we revalued our property this year, that our assessor updated our records and put before us the fact that because the values increased, we needed to increase our exemptions to make it fair. So that's why we're proposing these.
Mr. Tucker? And please feel free to line up if you wish to speak. Just stand in line right there, and I'll call you as you're there.
Patrice, I guess I missed your explanation. Could you give it again, please?
Sure, John. It's the fact that we revalued our property and the values increased, the assessed values. Our assessor recommended that we increase our exemptions to make it equitable for market value.
Okay. I guess I never noticed before. Has this always been called optional? Does that mean you don't have to accept it if you don't want to? Or?
Yes, this is what, by statute, it's made available, and each community can adopt it.
And lastly, how do we compare with other towns in terms of the veterans exemption?
I can just tell you what I've looked at, John, sporadically. I haven't done an in-depth research, but I noticed our values or our exemptions were lower than other towns.
Okay, thank you.
Further discussion on Article 10. We'll bring Article 10 to a vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Article 10 passes. Article 11, to see if the town will vote to amend the optional exemption for the blind as prescribed in RSA 72:37 from $25,000 to $35,000. Is there a motion?
Mr. Moderator, I move the article as read.
Second? Article 11's been moved and seconded. Does any member of the Select Board wish to speak to it? Is there any discussion on Article 11? Are we just changing mics or somebody speaking?
No.
Yes, that's a mic change.
Just what is the economic impact?
And Henry, please state your name.
Oh,
Thank
Henry
you.
Ahern from Plymouth.
I didn't pick John out for not doing that. Thank you.
Okay, Henry Ahern from Plymouth.
Is there a member of the board that could talk about the economic impact?
I'm sorry, Henry, I am without a calculator, which is not characteristic, but $75,000 is what we granted last year. Under the proposed exempt amount, $105,000 of value would be exempt. So the actual increase is, can you do that, Butch? It's about $30,000, okay? But again, all of these changes are being made to keep up with our reassessed values.
Is there more discussion on Article 11? We'll bring Article 11 to a vote. All those in favor of Article 11, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Article 11 passes. Brings us to Article 12, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $1,375,152 for fiscal year 09-10 general government expenses as follows. Salaries, fees, and expenses, Selectmen's Office, $353,836. Election registration vital statistics, Town Clerk's Office, $128,881. Financial administration, $175,996. Reappraisal of property, $54,000. Contract legal services, legal and others, $113,358. Personnel administration, $3,500. Planning and zoning, $119,028. Land use enforcement, $63,347. General government buildings, $87,000. Cemeteries, $50,145. Miscellaneous insurance, workers' compensation, liability, and unemployment, $148,150. Emergency management, $9,000. Care of trees, $2,400. Debt service, SRF landfill closure, $65,511. Education and training expense, $1,000. Is there a motion?
Mr. Moderator, I move Article 12 as read.
Is there a second? Article 12 has been moved and seconded. Is there any member of the Select Board that wishes to speak to Article 12? Any discussion on Article 12? Mr. Houle.
Bill Houle, Plymouth resident. I'd like to ask what the increase in the salary line is in this warrant article. Looking at the comparative figures over on a subsequent page here, it shows about a $50,000.
Please speak right into the microphone, Bill. Thank you.
It shows a $50,000 increase in the 4130 account over what was expended in the past year.
Yeah. What line is that again?
For the Assembly, if you look on page 116, if you look at the top line of that data page, line 4130, salaries, fees, and expenses, actual expenditures for the prior year were $304,056. Proposed appropriation is $353,836. That's a $50,000 increase.
We had some individuals leave during the course of the season.
I didn't understand that, Paul.
We had some individuals leave during the course of the year.
Right. The actual budgeted was 321, right? And the actual spent was 30. So it isn't actually a $50,000 increase. It's, did you want to speak to that?
Bill, I'm sorry, I looked at the wrong line. I thought you were referring to the one to the left. You need to go from 340, 160. You're comparing the wrong line.
340, 160.
160 up to 353, 836. The way an MS6 works is you have to go back 1.5 years. That actual expenditures is the prior year before. It's a year and a half before.
I understand that. You
So
budgeted
340. If you want to know the difference between this year and last year was 340, 160. This year is 353. That's your increase.
I understand that you budgeted for that year 340, 160. You expended 304, and you're now upping that to 353. It's up $15,000 over what you had previously appropriated. It's $50,000 over what you actually expended. I understand the fiscal year.
Bill, that's not how it works. I'm sorry, but that's not how it works.
Thank you for reminding me. Who is a member of the Budget Committee that's here? Well, I would be happy to ask for your recommendation, which I should be doing on an article that carries money.
Bill, I'll try to explain it one more time. The first column is 0809. The second column is 0708. They're not, it's the way the DRA sets it up. They are not comparing that second column to the first column. I don't know why they do it that way. We had this discussion last year, but that's how they do it. We have in the past put the wrong numbers in that column.
Mr. Tucker.
John Tucker, what does the increase in salaries represent in terms of percentage? Did you have an average percentage that you increased the salaries?
Yes, yes. Or, Mr. Moderator, may I?
Yes.
I was going to explain, John. In general, I can tell you that the increases in the salary lines, wherever they're noted, are this year we gave a 3% raise across the board that's available.
3%?
3%. And that's generally, other than going through each line in the budget on every line, the general raise was 3%.
Thank you. I also, Paul, you said this terminology, it's new to me. The ensuing year, I assume that's the one we're voting on, right? That's upcoming. And the expenditures for the past year were the ones that ended in July, right? This past July? Right. Thank you.
In further seeking to understand the increase, the $13,000 amount relative to the figures that you've alluded to, is that explained by the position of the new media director that you have assumed in the municipal office?
Please use the microphone.